Hello everyone, thanks for taking the time to view this demonstration today. You can choose to view this video, or you can proceed to the PowerPoint for the walkthrough on how to set up our project management solution that we've come up with for the electrical section. The first thing that you would need to do following along with this video is to find the Teams site. Once you are on the Teams site, we are looking for the electrical section projects hub. If we select that, the first thing that we are looking to accomplish today is to set up our own dedicated channel. So for this demonstration, I would ask that you would follow along and do the things that I am doing to set up your own dedicated channel to be able to learn this technology. Once we have completed this demonstration, we're going to be showing you how to delete the channel so that we can keep this team page as clean as we possibly can, and so that it's only populated with projects that we will actually be working on. But it's a good opportunity to use this as a sandbox before we get going. So the first thing that we are looking to do is go to the electrical sections project hub on the left hand side. If we click on the ellipsis or the more options button, we can select add channel. When we do these things, we are looking to identify the channel name by the project that we and our group or teammates are going to be working on. So hopefully it's going to be descriptive of the things that you are planning to do. So in this case, we're just going to give you some training. So we're just going to call it PM Solution. All right. So I want to select automatically show this channel on the channel list so that we'll see it show up on the left hand side of our page. Another thing that you might want to add is more detail here, just so you can let other people know what your team is working on. So once we select the add button, we'll see it show up on the left hand side of the page, and we are ready to get going. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to eliminate the amount of notifications that we are getting from this team site. I'm sure everybody is aware that we can be getting quite a bit. So now on the navigation bar at the top of our individual channels, we want to find the more options button. So if we select the more options button, we can come down here and we can look for channel notifications. If we open up those channel notifications, we have an opportunity to go in and select the information that we will be receiving from our individual project channels. So in this case, I'm going to select off for both options, and then I'm just going to select save. I will be receiving less notifications from this channel, but the individual teammates will have to go in and do the same thing, so that if they are getting too much, they can restrict that. Okay, the next thing that we are going to be doing is looking at the project management solution that we have found within the Teams app using the Office 365 suite, since we are familiar with how everything flows. We need to go up to the top in our navigation bar, and we are going to locate the Add a Tab. If we select the Add a Tab, it's going to give us our application options within the Office 365 suite, and we want to find the Planner app. If we select the Planner app, we are going to be ready to go. I want to create a new plan, and here I want to maintain consistency, so I'm going to be naming my new plan the exact same as what I named my project. So I'm just going to call this PM Solutions, and I'm ready to go. Solution. I do not want to post to the channel about this tab, so I'm going to click Save Next. So now we'll see that show up at the top of our navigation bar. So the next thing that we want to do is to set up our individual project team channels so that they are consistent, as we expect this side of the page to start to get populated with a bunch of projects, and everybody is going to be able to go in and see what's going on. So in this planner app, we have things at the top of the page, and these are called buckets within this system. So if I click on this first bucket, to do, I want to name it tasks in planning. Okay, so when we're in the task and planning stage, we're simply trying to identify the things that we're going to need to do in our project in order to be able to turn over a deliverable. As we're working our way through, we will probably find ourselves in circumstances where we'll be thinking of things that we didn't initially think of. So we're going to go through and explore that a little bit more, but we want to talk about the next bucket. So the next bucket for us, if we could all name this the same, is going to be tasks in progress. And then you'll notice if I press enter, we have a new bucket show up. So as far as standardization goes, we are looking to all have the same amount of buckets. Let's call that task completed, or task complete. So you'll see another new bucket show up, but if we can limit it to 3, we'll see that it flows better in the system functionality. All right, so the next thing that we are going to be looking at is individual tasks. So we are at the planning stage of this project, which is to show you how to use the system. So I want to go in and I want to add a task. So in Planner, these are called task cards. So the first option that I'm going to have is to enter my task name. Okay, so I want to call this one the basics. So I'm going to be walking you through the basics of this system. Now I got 2 options here. I could either press enter and it'll show up, or I can press the add a task button and it will do the exact same thing. So the next thing that I want to talk about is caution. So we have found a problem with this system that we want to highlight, and I'm going to do that a little bit later in this demonstration. So the final thing that we want to talk about is navigation. And I'm just going to press enter again. Now, as these tasks start to develop and as you start to talk about your team with your team on what you're going to be doing, you might not like the order or the way these things lay out. So it's very easy in the system to just drag it along and reorder them. In this case, I'm going to talk about the basics first, then I'm going to talk about caution, then I'm going to talk about navigation. So now that I've got it set up so it's cleaner and easier for me to look at, the next thing that I want to do is I want to open up one of these task cards. I want to look at the things that are available to me in the task card. So I'm going to just click on it and you'll see it pop up. Okay. The nice thing about this is we've got little checklists inside. So as we are looking at the task, we all know that there's going to be individual steps that have to go on within that given task to be able to complete it. So I'm just going to look at a couple of things. First thing that I'm going to do is assign this task to myself or to my teammates, whatever that happens to be. Okay. The next thing that I want to think about is when should this task begin? Next thing that I want to think about is when am I committing to have this deliverable done for my teammates? So a due date. In order to be able to track how our project is going, we're also going to have to consider how to change the task status. So currently we have not started anything, so we're going to look at that. And then finally we're going to look at move the task to another bucket. All right. So as we go through our task here, we're going to come up and we are going to assign it. So in this instance, I'm going to assign it to myself. Okay. And the reason why I'm doing that is I don't want to be giving a whole bunch of notifications to my teammates if they haven't gone in and selected to receive less notifications from this specific channel. So I could certainly select more of my teammates and add them to this task if that's what you guys are going to be doing. Okay, so I've got that taken care of. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is setting up a start date. So I'm simply going to set it up as today. Okay, I think we're going to be done this task today, so I'm going to select the end date as of today. And then I want to move this to being in progress. Okay, so we'll see that it shows up in progress right now. I also have a couple of options right now to display this differently. So I can choose to show this on the card, okay, or not show this on the card. So in this case, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to show it on the card. And another task that I have to take care of is move this task to another bucket. Okay, so I got a couple options here as well. I can simply take it and drag and drop it, and I can put it in another bucket. Or within the card itself, I can change the status of it and I can move it from bucket to bucket within the card. Okay, so in this case, I've moved it back to the tasks and planning stage, and of course that's not the case. So I'm going to move it over here into the tasks in progress. So now that I have taken care of that, if I open up the card, I can see that I have no other things to take care of. So I guess we could consider this task complete. And I could move it over here to my task completed bucket. So when I close the card, you will see that it's no longer in the tasks in progress stage. However, it has moved over here to the task completed. I don't have the ability to see the card at this time. However, if I select this drop down menu, it will actually show me that the task has been completed. It shows me which of my teammates has in fact completed that task. So I think we're all done with that task. We're ready to come over here and we are ready to talk about the next item. Okay, so the next item we're going to be talking about in tasks and planning is, I just noticed that, maybe I'll spell that correctly. Right on. I want to open this cautionary track up and I want to look at a few issues. Okay, so the first thing that we want to talk about is deleting cards, and deleting channels is going to come up next. So I'm going to assign this to myself again. I'm going to set the start date to today. I'm going to set the end date to today. I'm going to change this into in progress, and I'm going to move it over to the tasks in progress bucket. I'm going to show it on the card and we'll see what happens. Perfect. So I want to talk about deleting cards. When we go into our individual cards, we are going to have the ability to add attachments to these cards, and we can connect links to them, or we can connect SharePoint files to them. We're also going to have the ability to communicate with our team. In this comment section. So if we click the send button here, we'll see that those comments are going to come up in the bottom, and these comments are going to be archived within this individual card. And if your teammate has chosen to get notifications from this channel, they will also get that communication, so you can use this as a tool to let people know the status of this individual task if you need something from them. However, one of the problems that we have found with the system, and there's very few, is if we come over here, it does give us the option to delete this card. So a thing that we do want to be aware of is if we choose to delete the card is completely gone. All of the information that we've contained in that card is also completely gone. So we want to really be aware of that before we choose any options to delete. Okay, so the next thing that we want to talk about is navigation. So I'm going to once again assign this to myself. I'm going to set this due date up for today. I'm going to set the end date for today as well. I'm going to say that we are in the progress of showing you how to do some navigation, so I'm going to move that over to the tasks in progress bucket. So the thing that I want to add on my checklist is how do I actually see more information? So this is where the real value of the system is that we have seen. if we go into our navigation bar and we choose to go to the website, you are going to be going to the full website of this planner application. And you're going to have a heck of a lot of functionality available to you. So you'll see the same board that we had just been looking at. We've got one of our tasks completed, which was showing you the basics. We of course went in and deleted one of those cards, which is something that we've got to be very cognizant of. And now we are talking about this navigation stage, and that is of course in progress. So when we are on the full site, the first thing that you'd want to consider doing is setting up any projects that you happen to be working on in your favorites. So I'm going to select it as my favorites. You'll see that this project has now popped up in here. And the benefit of doing that is you have the ability to see this in multiple forms. So the first thing that we can do is we can look at all of the projects that are currently in play in the entire electrical section. So right now you can see I'm working on 2 projects. So the first one is checking out the back end of this system to make sure that it's going to offer us the functionality that we are going to need. And then the second project that we are working on right now is giving you some training on this solution that we are looking to use to make sure that the learning curve is taken care of. So we can see that we've got some tasks in progress here, and we've got tasks completed. We can also see in this COVID projects framework, we've got quite a few tasks completed, a couple not started, a couple in progress, and we're also going to see stuff show up late. If we have passed our due date, that's going to show up late. All right, so now if you're looking to find out more information on things that you've committed to, what you can do is you can select the My Tasks. And this is where the real benefit of adding the plan name as the exact same as the project that you're working on, because it shows at the top of any card the actual project that you're working on here. So here we're talking about the PM solution. We're also looking at our COVID project framework. This one here was just another card that I had made up for the training. So we can also see the information in a different format. You can see the charts for the status of the jobs that you're working on. You can see the different plans or projects that you're working on down here in a different form and how many you've got outstanding. And you also have the ability to see it in a schedule format so that you can see if you're late on something. And you can check in with your teammates. Maybe you have to reestablish a due date or something like that. And it gives you a description of anything that's going to be happening. All right. So what I want to do now is I just want to simply go back to the main planner app here within our team suite. And we want to look at how to attach files. That's the next thing. So we talked about the caution of not adding things to cards. What we want to do is we want to use our file options in our navigation bar. So if we select the file option, we would now have access to grab our files from anywhere we want. So here I'm going to simply upload this file. I'm just going to grab something off my desktop. It doesn't really matter. CodeLogic 4, I guess. And we'll see that that's going to be uploaded here now onto this team channel that we're going to be using. So this is going to be stored for us in the SharePoint. And if we are using this file system and we do happen to lose a card, it won't really matter. We might have to go in and rebuild the card, but we're not going to lose any deliverables or files that we're working on collaboratively. All right. So the final thing that we want to look at doing here is deleting this channel. And in order to delete the channel, we're simply going to go right beside our project channel. We're going to look for our More Options ellipsis button here. And we are going to scroll down to the bottom and we're going to look at this deleting the channel. Okay. This is another thing that we want to be hugely aware of, since everybody is going to be using this electrical section project hub, that we are not deleting another team's channel and compromising all of their work. So this gives us an option to just sit back and reflect on if these are things that we actually want to do or not. So yes, I absolutely do want to delete this channel. I want to try and leave my page as clean as I possibly can. If you want to do this a few times, just so that you're very comfortable with the system, please feel free. When you're ready to walk away from the system, please make sure that you have not left anything populated in here for a project. so that we can keep this once again as clean as possible. So hopefully this was a nice soft intro into using this system. Once again, you could use this video to be able to set up your individual project channel, or you could choose to walk through the slideshow that this presentation is embedded in, and it will give you screen captures of the same things that you were looking to do. If we missed anything or you're not sure, please connect with me, and I have nothing but time. We can walk you through these things to make sure that you are very comfortable moving forward. Thanks, and have a great day.